Hello and welcome to the show. This is Do All the Things. On today's episode, a grand unboxing. I have an Antec C8 Curve. Let's take a look. I've been toying with the idea of replacing my case on my gaming rig for a while now. I was looking at the Fractal North for the longest time because it seemed living room-esque. That's where my system was set up. But I have this Lian Li case now that's not appropriate. Just does not have the cooling for a serious gaming build. Very nice looking case though. It's a bit of an impromptu video today. Forgive me for not wearing pants. What do we got here? Accessory box. Shall we look at the accessories first? Okay. What did you include? It's a fancy box for accessories. Okay. Manual? They still make those? Okay, we got screw boxes. This is the first case or something I bought with screw boxes. Oh, we got some rubber bumpers here. I guess I'll find out what those are for. And then metal. Okay, I think these are fan adapters. To be able to adapt the case for 120mm fan mounting adapter. Yes, if you're gonna run 120mm fans, which I probably am going to, there's your adapter. Right back of the box, lettuce, tomato. This is gonna be one of those flip it upside down dealies, right? It's got some weight to it. Oh, we're jammed already. It's these things. So we gotta get these out of the way so it doesn't get stuck on the foam. How about, I guess we just brute force it. Don't feel good on the old fingies, but we got it. Oh boy. I guess we'll do this and this. Oh, something slipped on this end. We got loose plastic here. Don't know what it is yet. Okay, this is the bottom of the case. Okay, let's do one of these. Can I get my hand under here? Whew. Is thick. But that's to be expected. It's kind of like an 011 style case. This is the front of the case. It looks like a side of a case, but it's a front of a case. Oh, is that what those plugs were? They have plugs on all the little I/O holes. See how those plugs look like they're USB covers. These are black. Are they not USB 3? They must be. And I think we have a USB-C up here too. I haven't got a lot of USB-C, but I do have USB-C. I haven't C-to-C cables. I guess I'll be buying more of them. Constellations for people who play Starfield. Oh, don't say that. Now nobody's gonna want it. So to get the glass off, we have to remove the top panel first. And then there's a screw here. Okay, well, how does that work then? I feel like a little dip here. Oh, it pulls. It's got little snappies. And the rubbers are falling out. It mentioned something. Oh, there's a screw here. Just to say. What is this? Like a 632 coarse thread. And it got my fingers a little schmooey. Up and then over. Odd angle so that we could see. I think there's a grip spot. Like this feels like the bottom of the glass. No. Step 3 is to slide it forward. Ah, there's snaps here. Then up. Oh boy. This thing is, this is a thick piece of glass. Look at that. Heavy too. I gotta set that aside for safekeeping. But now we're open as frig here. Not even sure how to frame this. Rubber grommets here, rubber grommets here, rubber grommets here. We have space at the bottom. This already has, okay, so that's the 140 fan mounting adapter. So we got to put the 120 fan mounting adapter on there. And then we have about 140, 120 here for 3 fans. So that would be a 360 if you're running 120. And then again at the top, these holes aren't the widest, but 360, 120 at the top. I have for starter 2 rads I want to put in here. This one's dripping already. I thought we left you to dry forever. Apparently not. Okay. Typically, something like, oh boy. I can put it wherever I want. It just slides all over, bud. Okay. This will be the main rad to get the hot air out of the case, at least in the case for the video card. Suppose we could put it on the bottom. That would interfere too much with too many of these. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 of these. A good motherboard only has 7, but that's okay. I have accessories I'm gonna be fitting in there. I guess we could put this on the side if we wanted, like that. Oh, with this particular rad, these nozzle covers don't go through there, so it doesn't sit nice. That might also be the case. No, it should be fine on the bottom, but this SR2 rad won't go on the side. Now here's a more conservatively sized Alpha Cool No problems there. And I'm willing to bet I'll be able to fit it down here. Question is with fans and interfering. So I'm not sure where I'm going to be putting the bottom rad yet. This case advertises being compatible with the vertical GPU mount, so I ordered one of those to go with it. I don't know how it's going to fit yet, and it's a Cooler Master. But apparently they've started achieving a standard. So as long as they design the rear cutout a certain way, that is, with no little intermissions in between. Apparently there's a standard now, and that should fit. I even did a Google search and the AI said that the Cooler Master one will fit. Okay, this I guess is intended to be an intake because we have a screen here. It's so open. Yeah, I'm thinking despite the fact that this thing has a full side, like look at this. This side's all mesh, but all mesh. How's this come off now? Is it here? No, here. There's the grip here. There, oh yeah. Okay, that's the easy part. Toolless side panels. Looks like that'll come off with the top on or off. We could pop the top back on just for funs and lulz. Except that we got a rubber. The USB-C rubber does not want to cooperate. Mesh everywhere, bud. It's gonna be like there's nothing here. Air duct partition. So that's good. We got mesh. So this is gonna be able to fit all. And with how thick this is, we could put the fans on the inside of this and make it not look so uggo. I think that's the intention even. These aren't the fans I plan on using, but yeah, those rails are definitely, we would have this like, you know, because I'm not turning it back around. On the other side, it would look something like that, which is not nice. Have this covering, so we probably will end up putting the fans on the other side. I also have some reversed fans coming. Got a little shelf here for the power supply. Power supply goes here, okay. Which way are you supposed to, I guess the fan would be positioned this way. A lot of room here. I'm pretty sure my 16 hundo would fit in here. Thumb screw down here. Which way does this go now? Up, down, around. I might actually need the manual. Oh, it has a screw at the back. Well, what's the point of that? Why would you make a thumb screw to make it toolless on one side and then put a tooled screw on this side? I guess you could treat it as optional. You don't. Since this goes up against that like that, no, it wouldn't work. I was about to say, you might as well put a floppy cutout here. The little guides or screws, you can take those out. There's a warning label in here. To install fans of other size, please remove this bracket. Okay, this sticker might have drifted. This plate, no, that's riveted on. Doesn't appear to be any adapters for SSDs in this. This is just a pure 3.5. I don't know why they would do that in this day and age. Like not just have a different set of holes to slap some SSDs in here if you wanted to cram more SSDs. Maybe that's just how contemporary a case this is. We give you one conventional spin drive and like we ain't even supporting 2.5s anymore because even that's passe. There is, see that's what's up here. Hiding up here, we have the SSD sled, which will support a Pierce 2. So that's okay. This gaming build has at least 1, 2.5. Can't get it back in easy. There it goes. It feels sturdy. Has a reasonable amount of room underneath for breathing. Grommets everywhere. They're chonk ones. Apparently it supports reverse wired motherboards. Velcros is nice. In fact, does this have zap straps? I didn't notice. F panel. This has no drive lights. I like a little bit of blinking light for the hard drive indicator, but it seems they've eliminated that. There is no hard drive indicator light on here. This is just tested reset. So, yeah, I actually don't care for that. I like having the hard drive indicator light because it tells me when the computer is thinking. There's certain decisions on how I treat the computer based on how much thinking it's doing. Like, you know, whether or not I'm going to shut it off right now, or like, do I need to investigate why it's thinking too much? What's downloading right now? What's processing? I guess Microsoft doesn't want you to know because I installed Windows 11 on a PC one day there and it was blinking a lot. I think it was just constantly downloading updates, but still, it was like, what are you doing? Ooh, there's a flaw in this screw here. Doesn't quite sit nice. I wonder what these are for. Not sure, maybe I'll find out later. Recessed I/O or recessed interface slots. That looks like it'll do a 140. and a 120, adjustable up and down. That will support a single rad. Maybe will, maybe we won't. I got distracted from the audio cables, or the I/O cables. We have HD audio. It has all the connections, even though I only see one jack. It might be a multi-jack. They're doing this thing now where that's both an input and an output. Big chunk USB 3 and a USB-C. So it's missing a hard drive light. I would still like to see that. I could see not having a power light, even though the power light's handy for knowing if you're in standby or turned off. I would still like a hard drive light. I might rig something else up internally just to see the blink and blink blink. I have ways of doing that. No fans, no fan hubs, no RGB hubs. Last Antec case I bought for a much lower price point came with a bunch of stuff. But this, it's like, okay, we spent all our money on our freaking fancy glass, so we ain't giving you anything else. That's okay. I guess when you're building a case this enthusiast, being able to deliberately choose your fans is part of the party, right? But yeah, I totally think I'm gonna be able to do a reasonably high airflow build. Cool running gaming system. Like, I was sussed out about a side intake, like it's gonna have no problem pulling air through this. No problem, bud. Almost looks like it supports 4 fans. Look at that. That's one selling point, that this is fully cut out for maximum airflow. Like, you could omit this altogether. So a little bit of history on Antec, because they're a name that goes back a while, and it's interesting to see them make this much of a comeback where they're releasing like potentially S-tier cases, competing with the big boys, and at a slightly lower price point. This thing's $250 Canadian, so it's nothing to scoff at, but that's a reasonable price for a really good gaming case. That's what they would have cost back in the early 2000s when Antec was around. Start going more than that, it's like, wow. Back in the early 2000s, I don't know what happened and why they disappeared, but back in the early 2000s, they made cases, they made power supplies, they made fans. That's what they were known for. I got some Antec Tri-Cool fans. They had a speed switch on them. They were an early fan with a speed control. They were good fans, low noise, still use them on my main rig. Cases, they're up there with one of the first companies to release gaming cases, high airflow cases that weren't just plain gray and only took 80mm fans. Cases were pretty freaking gray and boring, and Thermaltake always made like these very flamboyant cases. They were basically the gray cases with just 80mm fans, but they decorated the frig out of them, like the Zazer skull case and whatnot. Then the Antec 900 was one of the first high airflow cases. Cooler Master had their half. But what Antec was really known for, was their power supplies. This thing in my archives, missing its fan right now. This is the Antec NeoPower 480. See, logo right there. What you're looking at is one of the first power supplies on the market to use one big 120mm fan instead of a louder 80 at the end. It's also one of the first power supplies to be modular. And they also had this feature right here. It had a fan speed controller. As this thing pulled air out of your case, it had a temperature regulator or a temperature sensor that would adjust the speed of your case fans, and I think even the internal fan. Before power supplies, they had a fan that would just run full out the whole time, most of them, and they had all these wires coming out. It still had ketchup and mustard cables, but you could unplug and plug the ones you needed. Now, I'm not sure if they were the first modular power supply or even the first 120 fan power supply, but they were one of the first, if not the second, if not the first commercially successful modular power supply. This was the power supply that changed the power supply game. And despite the fact that it is gutted, this thing lasted a long time. I think I was using it right up until like 2017, 2018. Maybe it finally died in 2019, and it's from 2004. But then they upped the ante. Look at this pupper. Antec Truepower Quattro. They are one of the first companies to make high output power supplies in the 800 watt ranges. 550 and 650 were common, but as computers got more thirsty, they came out with 800 and 1000 watt power supplies. Also semi-modular, so it had some cables baked in. They went back to the 80mm fan for some dumb reason, so this thing was louder than it should be. As you can see there, I modded it with a speed-controlled fan. This power supply still works. I don't know if I trust it because it makes funny noises. Maybe it needs a cap job, but it does still work. I had a buddy with a 1000 and that was still working up until like a year or two ago. It didn't die, but he sold that computer. Why do they call it Quattro? Because it had 4 12-volt rails, which is non-standard now. Power supplies now just have one big chunk and 12-volt rail. That way you don't have to worry too much about what connectors you used. This thing, in order to support dual graphics ready and all the extra cards, you had to like look at the manual to see the power routing, what connectors were on what power rail. So you made a point to distribute your load correctly as you did your build. So this was kind of an advanced power supply for an advanced builder. You weren't the average Joe wanting to be using this guy. I think back then it was hard to make one big power rail. It was easier to make 4 separate ones. So a bit of a gimmick, but it did work for the time. You did it right. It worked well. Powered my main rig for a while. Dual video cards, the whole 9 yards. But that's the thing with Antec. I got another power supply sitting up there. Still works as far as I know. It's a 550 watt EPS 12 volt. I got that for my dual Opteron setup that I had a while back. Also back in that time. The fact of the matter is, if you were an enthusiast gamer building high-end computers back in the early 2000s, there's a good chance you were using an Antec power supply. They were like the EVGA or Corsair of the time when it came to power supplies. Corsair was just a RAM maker back then and do anything else. They had some good damn RAM, yeah. But Antec just up and disappeared for a while until they're coming back with a vengeance, making awesome cases. It's got a little bit of the wood here. It's gonna look nice. It's gonna be a nice build. And I just realized if we go down here, little snaps pop out. And in the accessory, that's what some of those weird things were. They gave you the snaps remove easily and they give you replacement snaps. So you're gonna get some mileage out of this. They got rubber pads under here. Well, damn, I am looking forward to doing a build with this guy. You will stay tuned. I'll do that eventually. It's not gonna be the next video, might be a couple months, but I'm going to be doing a build on this case, so come check that out. Ah, jeez, the cat wants in.